Hello and welcome back, noobs and noob slayers. What is up, guys? Diz Tactical here, and today I have a very special video. It is going to be the first ever Total War Tuesday. Today we're going to be doing a nice 3v3 on Rome 2, where it was my friends and I playing. So I was on the team of, it was kind of stacked for us, Kush, Rome, and Sparta. So we had a very stacked army versus Epirus, the Arverni, and Egypt. Now, Egypt went with a very interesting composition for their cav. Most of the players here are relatively new, I would say, to Rome, besides myself. So it was an actual overall interesting battle to see. But we're going to go over our unit compositions. So for me, I had 3 units of Leopard Warriors. These guys were pretty decent, however they broke very quickly for me. Again, never played Kush, so it was very interesting for me to do that. I had 4 units of Kushite slave infantry. They did okay, and what the bulk of my army and my points went into was the armored Showdown warriors. These guys are absolutely cracked. Then I had 2 units of Kushite pikes, 3 units of Kushite archers, and then 1 unit of Kushite royal guard, my general, 1 unit of armored desert cavalry. Now, the Romans, they went with kind of a very light army, but however, what they lacked with units, they kind of focused on experience. They had, let's see, they had, I believe, at least 4 times legionary cohorts. Yeah, five cohorts of legionaries, 3 armored legionnaires, and then 1 first cohort, in addition to their legatus. Then for Sparta was my friend OJ with the juicy bits. Very interesting army composition. 4 units of citizen cavalry, 4 units of Perotolki Peltas, I believe I butchered that, 2 units of Spartan pikemen, and then they had, I think the rest was Spartan hoplites. Yeah, so it was 5 units of Spartan hoplites, 1 unit of Heroes of Sparta, and then their Heroes of Sparta general. Now, going up and going over to the enemy army, what we have here is Egypt did a very interesting composition. They had a lot of skirmisher cav and a lot of Egyptian cav, and I really can't see the rest of their armies, so we'll go into it a little bit later. But, yeah, so we're just going to kind of go into the battle here and see how it goes. Going to fast forward a little bit here because the battle was a little bit slow at the start. Arverni had a very good positioning with his giant ballista, so that kind of caused us a little bit of issue for Rome. Rome kind of lost a lot of guys there, and I noticed Egypt as well decided to shift a lot of their cav around and try to bait us. So as you can see with this, I was getting baited by Epirus, and they were trying to get their cav to bait me out, and I knew I wasn't going to deal with it, so I kind of just played a little bit defensively. Shift over some pikes as well as my archers, so I knew the pikes would stop the cav and they could also protect the archers here. Now, the cav again was going to try baiting me into a melee attack. I wasn't going to be having it. As we can see, the Egyptian cav, skirmisher cavalry moving in here. I believe, yeah, they are all javelins, so the javelins weren't going to be able to do too much. And, well, they're going in for some good hits against the Roman legionnaires. That was honestly the bulk of our force when it came to overall, and huge mistake by the Egyptians here, sending their guys straight forward against Roman javelins. You never want to go against Rome with their jabs. That's just a horrible idea. Now again, a lot of these players were kind of new, so there was a lot of mistakes made on each side, which kind of balanced it out. But honestly, Rome in the center here lost a lot of guys, and as you can see, I start sending some Royal Kushites over to try to help out with that. But once we could see the Egyptians kind of learned what they needed to do to keep the Romans at bay, they were kind of just throwing their javelins straight in the direct shields. Not going to cause a lot of casualties there. So what they decided to do next was they wanted to start pushing their cav over to the flank and try to break me. Now with that, the Spartans decided to send their citizen cavalry over to the side and to help out as well. So we then saw that this hilltop here was going to be a massive problem for us, and we actually decided, well, you know what we're probably going to do is begin a massive cav attack on the right, their right flank, and hopefully try to collapse them. Now Epirus had some mercenary Italian spearmen. They were okay, not the greatest at all, especially once they get into contact with my heavy infantry. But they absolutely tried. So as you can see, we're going to start seeing some of the cav breaking here. They're trying to charge Roman infantry. The Roman lines were getting kind of a little messed up here. But as you can see, the javelins are still going to be inflicting insane amount of casualties against these guys. and they just don't have the oomph, you know, to officially take them out. I saw they were starting to engage my leopard warriors, so I got my leopard warriors into square formations, then pushed my archers back because my archers I wanted to survive at all costs. Then I decided to start pushing some of my archers over to try to take him out. And then we can see Arverni start to move up to kind of bolster their right flank because they can see something's about to happen. Now, this is where things are about to get very, very bloody and very interesting. As we can see, the Cav is starting to engage us very quickly, but that's when I realized the Kushite archers are really, really good. Like, it is insanely how good they are. Again, never played in my 2,000 plus hours of Rome. I just got the DLC for them, and I was like, you know what, I want to try them out. They seem like a very interesting faction, and yeah, so that's kind of the thought process on that. Now, this is where me and Sparta decided, okay, you know what, we need to make a play, and we need to make a play fast. Otherwise, something bad's going to happen here if we don't deal with all this cavalry. We know, historically speaking, a lot of major battles have been won by Cav, so we decided to amass a huge Rohan style Cav charge on this flank, and you know, it's so much fun seeing a bunch of new players kind of play games like this and see the thought processes of battles of how they play out. But we started to see the Egypt kind of overextended on the flank over here. So Sparta and I decided, look, if we're going to do this, we need to do it soon, because we see the Arverni is starting to move their line. Egypt is also starting to move their line over as well, and I'm currently going to be getting isolated if we don't really do anything about it. So that's what we were trying to essentially prevent here. Is as you can see in the strategy map, we saw their Cav were trying to flank us. We couldn't allow my force to be isolated. So then what we started to do was immediately send our forces, my forces here, so then we can actually cut off their 4 units of cavalry. We still saw that Epirus was not going to be pushing their Cav up to assist, so we wanted to capitalize on that isolation as much as possible. So my archers, as you can see, the Kushite started to rain fire into them. And then the Citizen Cav cut off ultimately 2 of the units of his Cav force. Epirus then sees what's happening here and notices it's definitely too late to save those 2 units of Cav. So they're going to just absolutely get cut off. You can see my men are about to be getting ready to form up here as well for a nice play. Now, you know, this ultimately went very well for us. We isolated those 2 units of Cav. Epirus wasn't able to go and assist. And now we can see Epirus is starting to move their 4 units of Cav up. And, well, Sparta and I decided, hey, this is the time. We got to capitalize on this, and we got to start the Cav battle because it's now or never. So Sparta was getting ready for it. I pulled my Cav back because mine were very medium Cav versus the very heavy melee cavalry. I had my pikes at the ready to support my archers here, the lovely Kushite archers. Again, these are absolutely insane against large. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I didn't know this, that they no, they don't have a bonus against large, I think. I don't know. They do have a heavy shot, that's all I know. I think I was using heavy shot on these guys, but yeah. So now let's go take a look over at Rome in the middle here. Rome's doing okay. A lot of their guys, yeah, I mean, Rome was kind of battered down a bit here, taking quite a beating. So now, as you can see, we're starting to form up our lines. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here because we got some good licks in at the beginning. And yeah, so we're going to fast forward a little bit and get ready to show the Cav charge, because the Cav charge is like when things started. As you can see, I decided to actually have my guys move forward. Now, this was the most important part of the operation, to have my pikes there to support the archers. The archers, the goal is we knew we likely wouldn't be able to win against the number of Cav they had, especially since he had at least 2 units of heavy Cav. Now, again, to compensate for this, well, we were throwing in the archers, and my goal as well was to basically try to bait them into some of the pikes. So none of the actual Arverni forces have decided to attack, and as we can see, Egypt's Cav is still sitting over here as well. Now, if the Egyptians had also pushed their Cav onto this side, I don't know if things would have changed, but it definitely seemed like Egypt was a very Cav-focused army this time around. Or wait, no, these guys aren't Egypt. I'm so sorry. These are not Egyptian at all. These guys, oh no, they are. That's, huh. These guys look just like, their models look like Celtic, but I mean, interesting. So as you can see, they have Galatian Royal Guards and Egyptian infantry. Now, the Galatian Royal Guards were actually pretty solid. And yeah, so the not only that, but the Naked Warriors were pretty interesting on the Arverni side. and then the chosen swordsmen. The chosen swordsmen were absolutely cracked. They caused a lot of problems for me, and now we can see the ultimate cav charges coming in. This is where the battle got very, very intense. I then was preparing to advance my men on the side, and we actually might see a cav charge. I'm almost certain the cav charge here absolutely just gets shattered. Yeah, so no, the Egyptian cav just tries to break the Romans, and they ultimately are just getting slaughtered. Just decimated on this side. The cav are unfortunately not going to be able to do too much against the Romans. As you can see here, very veteran forces holding the line, and I can see a cav charge coming in on the left. This is where things absolutely get insane and crazy. The archer battles, Kushite archers are getting slammed here as well. And we got a nice little charge, citizen cav versus mercenary Italian cavalry. Who's going to win this battle? It's very intense. My armored desert cavalry is fighting bravely against their general, the Hellenic royal cavalry. Actually, it is their general. And unfortunately, we are going to be losing that battle, most definitely. My pikemen are engaging the Epirus companion cavalry, going to be stabbing them to death like it's the streets of London. And, well, his lines are freaking out at this time, trying to figure out what to do. We have the Arverni getting ready to push the lines against the Romans as well. The Egyptians are kind of lowered in the back. This is where I send in my slave infantry, and they have to prove their worth, getting absolutely mauled here by the javelins. And, well, they get a good, nice little charge in. Fair battles across the line here. And then what's going to follow up and essentially ruin their entire line will be my heavy infantry shortly after. As you can see, though, the cav battle for me has gone not the greatest. I had to pull my general out because I need my general to survive this encounter at all costs. Pikemen are going to be coming in to kind of clean this up as well. And as we can see, I am fully engaged in his lines. Just straight up close quarters combat, letting them have it. Axe infantry versus sword infantry. And it's just not going to go too well for him in the long run here because, you know, my slave infantry can hold. They can hold against the levies, and then, but they're obviously going to break as well. And then my showdown warriors are going to fill in the gaps on some very crucial areas. As you can see right here, we're going to be hitting some of the mercenary Italian swordsmen. Going to be winning that engagement very shortly here. And then we're also going to kind of reinforce these guys, and then you're going to start seeing some breaks in the enemy line. Let's go over to the Roman side, and we can see the Romans are deciding to go on the offensive. A lot of their infantry has been kind of battered down and injured. They're going to be up against some spear warriors. Very interesting choice on that. I didn't actually get to see this during the battle, so it's very cool to see the Romans charging straight into the enemy lines, losing a lot of men. They lost. Rome was very crucial in this battle as well. They ate up a lot of the archers, a lot of the missiles for us, and as you can see, we definitely lost the cav battle here on the left. All of the citizen cav has been destroyed, and well, it is now going to be up to my pikemen to essentially be holding the flanks here. I was also kind of starting to worry because they were getting my Kushite warriors, and well, our whole back line here, as you can see, is just archers, and well, they capitalized on that. They started to actually push us, engage us pretty hard. I feel like, honestly, if their cav had pushed in a lot quicker, things would have been different before that. But as you can see, I'm starting to break their lines here with my men, and it's not looking good for Epirus at all. Sparta and Rome are holding their flanks, but as you can see, we're losing the ranged battles. Rome also is starting to lose their line. Things are not looking too good for us in this battle. The balance of power is still about 50-50. Sparta has committed a lot of their forces to defending my flank, which is, you know, kind of interesting to see. But we have the armored showdown warriors doing their job. Oh my god, it does not look well to be that guy. This is not a good time to be Epirus. Oh my god. This is brutal. Watching this is oh my god, the Kushites are just demolishing their soldiers. They're brave men. And you can see the line has just been shattered in half. Huge opportunity for me and my forces. My Kushite pikes are doing an outstanding job as well. Sparta is starting to reconfigure their lines because they know what's about to happen here. And well, I realize that we need to get something going, and my general might have to get into the fray here. We have some leopard warriors showing their ferocity to their king, the Kushite royal guard, charging in against their general, slamming in, and we have some nice missile support Gonna break them, which is very nice. I don't actually think we break them here. Yes, we do. And yeah, so the left side's pretty much been decided for the most part. He does have some remnants of the Royal Guard that are holding, which is going to cause us quite a bit of problem. As you can see, the Kushite slave infantry are just getting poked and prodded, decisively losing. So we had to do something very quickly. Rome, on the other hand, in the center, they're not looking too hot. They're getting slammed by the Chosen, and it's really not looking good to be a Roman soldier at this time. So we knew we had to do our best to try to break the lines here and make a huge difference, because Rome as well was very crucial in defending our center point. So, and as we can see, we had some Egyptian cav break through the back lines of Sparta. They were not paying attention, going to break some of the Romans here, and it's not going to be looking too hot for the Roman infantry. Not at all. As we can see, one time's broken. Might see a second broken here. It's starting to look like a very brutal battle for us. And then the hoplites are getting slammed in the back by the archers. And it's just, the legionary cohort here is just cut off from the rest of the force. Not looking good at all. Rome is desperately trying to hold on against a very, very brutal naked warrior attack, and also chosen infantry attack. They've got their lines defended very well. As we can see, the left side's been very decisive, no longer a threat. You see the Kushites are starting to advance their lines over to help out their Spartan and Roman brethren. This is very, very crucial, because as we can see, the Spartan lines are starting to get slammed with the archers. Not doing too hot. Rome as well is not doing the greatest either. The Chosen have done a fantastic job at cutting down the Spartans, the Romans, and it's just not looking good. You know, the Romans are trying to re-push back into the line. I think this is the first cohort. They're getting into the fray. The Roman general is almost dead. This one little brave legionary cohort that is exhausted and just surrounded on all sides, cut off from the Roman force, is just holding as best they can. And I don't know, hopefully they can get their reinforcements, but it's not looking too hot. Maybe some Spartans are able to go over and assist, but I think they're going to end up breaking here shortly. And yes, they broke. Not too hot. Nice little charge here against the Galatian Royal Guard and the Armored Legionnaires. Very interesting to see. And then as we can see, my force over here trying to go and fight up against the Oathsworn. We're not going to be looking too hot either. I knew I had to get my Kushite general in there to try to assist and clear up that the hunters that they've got, because those things were absolutely brutal. I then realized, okay, well, they're starting to also pound my general with volleys, so we need to get out there. We did a nice little charge. I lost quite a few guys too. Had to set up my guys to engage some nice solid infantry attacks. Now we had the armored Shotel warriors versus some chosen swordsmen and Gallic hunters. And well, we came out on top thanks to the assistance of Rome. We were doing a very, very good job by ourselves, but again, we needed Rome in the end here. We honestly needed Rome in a lot of this. Rome just did a fantastic job doing what they needed to do. And as we can see, the Spartan lines start to go over and push to assist. Things start to look like a chopped up victory here, but it was honestly kind of a close one in the end. Very nail biting here, because realistically, they could still kind of win this. Rome's holding on by a thread. If their general dies, it could be cooked. Same thing for Sparta. A lot of their lines are about to shatter from the looks of it. The Spartan hoplites are really showing true to their name of being experienced and dedicated warriors to the cause. And honestly, I don't really know what's going to happen here. My lines have been formed up. The Oathsworn are just honestly getting chopped up as well against Rome. Things are not looking too good. It's honestly a very stacked thing going on here. We're going for the encirclement. However, we did not see there are 3 units of Galatian swordsmen sitting in the rear guard waiting this whole time. So Egypt has been waiting with extra infantry to try to stop us, and I don't really know why they waited so long to get their men into the fight. But Egypt is still fighting a very strong battle against Sparta and Rome here. The remaining Arverni are fighting their hardest to go up against us. I quickly noticed what's going on, and I quickly put my men on the line to fight them, because they're hungry for battle. As you can see, they're chanting for more. They want more. And then my general is still very much alive. I have my leopard warriors who've been here since the start, fighting very ferociously against the Arverni. These guys have engaged now 2 different type of cultures in the same battle, and they want more. They hunger for more. and they want more. That's why they're called the Leopard Warriors. They fight just like a leopard, ferociously. And watch, it's just going to continuously get bloody here. As we can see, the 3 units of the Galatian swordsmen are getting ready to go in for a charge. The Spartans are holding what they can. Rome is almost non-existent. It's getting down to the gridiron, the last bit of soldiers here. And again, the Oathsworn are holding their own like absolute chads. Like they are truly holding a very solid fight against us, and it's brutal. It is brutal to see. It is honestly a very interesting sight to see with how many Oathsworn are holding their own. Their general is fighting to the last against Shotel warriors. It's just, oh my god. And we're about to see a possible charge here against my pikemen, although they're walking in shame from the looks of it. My Kushite slave infantry on the retreat. Armored Shotel warriors going in to just cut down these Oathsworn to get them out of the fight, because they've been causing us so much of a problem. And well, are we going to see an absolute slaughterfest here in the killing fields? Now we see the pikemen have engaged. I don't know why the Galatian swordsmen have chose to go against the pikes, but it's what they wanted. They chose death before dishonor. And the Spartan lines are still holding quite well. Heroes of Sparta getting actually decisively losing here against the Egyptian infantry. It is looking very interesting still on this line against the Spartans. And well, I don't know, folks. It looks like the remainder of the Galatian swordsmen here are getting absolutely poked and prodded. These poor men were ordered into the meat grinder by their general, and they're facing the repercussions by it, just getting poked and prodded left and right. Not a great time to be an Egyptian soldier, not at all. Now, as we can see as well, we start to finish off the Oathsworn here. Still a very, very intense battle going on. Not much that we could do here when it comes to that. Huge battle going on against the Spartans and the Egyptians still. And, well, we start to pick off the other units of the Galatians. There's still a lot of battle left here, as we can see. You know, it definitely looks one-sided for us, but it could still be anyone's game. They still have their general here, the Royal Thorax Swordsman. It's not going to be looking too good. We're honestly trying to keep the Shotel warriors alive, because look at them. They have 415 kills. These guys proved to be very, very excellent for my army, and honestly, I was glad to have them, and I utilized them properly. Honestly, again, this was such a huge, interesting battle. A lot of interesting tactical decisions made, a lot of tactical mistakes made on the battle as well. And as we can see, Rome is still kind of starting to get their stuff together and help out as well. The left side, huge bloodbath. Center was, well, it was brutal. It was honestly a brutal battle all across the board. The Oathsworn still holding their own with 267 kills. These guys are absolutely giga-chads. The Armored Shotel Warriors are still holding up to such a good measure here. And, wow. It's just a very bloody battle on this flank. What's left of honestly, the Galatian Royal Guard should have got in there a lot earlier. Not sure what was happening. These Galatian swordsmen are getting, these other units are getting poked and prodded on both sides. It's very unfortunate, again, to be an Egyptian soldier, an Egyptian mercenary. These Shotel warriors are fighting 2 different cultures at once. Very confused, but they are going to hold in the name of the Kush. They're going to hold. They're not going to give up. They're surrounded. They will come out on top in the name of Kush, and we ended up winning the battle because they ended up giving up. This was absolutely insane of a battle for us. I hope you guys enjoyed the first ever Total War Tuesday. If you guys want to see more, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, guys.